What is good with y'all, boys? Hope everyone had a great new year. Enjoyed your holidays with your family. Hopefully you had a better holiday season than our two subjects of this video right here. One being infamous streamer Adin Ross, and other hip-hop superstar. Can't seem to take his name out the news cycle. It is Drake, Champagne Poppy, whatever you want to call him. They are facing some major allegations here. Caught a Rico, which is a major federal class action suit. Rico is Racketeer, Influence, and Corrupt Organizations Act. And you don't usually see this for streamers, as we know. Young Thug, in his case, he called a Rico, but that's usually reserved for, gangs, big crime syndicates. You don't usually see this with gambling, but here we are. So to give you a little bit of background on the situation, Drake and Adin Ross both have big deals with Stake.us. It's labeled a social gambling platform so that they can avoid certain laws, but pretty much it's like every other online gambling platform. Apparently Drake makes $150 million a year for promoting this site, going on stream. You've seen him a couple times with Ben the Don, and of course with Adin Ross as well. Gambling, playing with large sums of money, and usually losing a lot, but also winning a lot on certain days. But as we know, gambling always in the long run doesn't really work out very well, no matter if you're Drake or Adin Ross. The turn for them is they're being accused of playing with fake money, which is not surprising to me at all. You'll see Drake or Adin Ross both kind of playing, whether it's $250,000 hands on blackjack or, 10K, 100K spins on roulette. It doesn't really affect them that much, it seems, in their videos, whether they win or lose. When they win, they have a huge celebration, but if they lose, it's like, oh, whatever, we'll just keep spinning. So that's the first kind of suspicious thing, and I've noticed that since they started their deal with Stake. It's, hey, we won $1 million, it's amazing, or hey, we lost 500K, whatever, we'll get them next time. Drake usually will post, like, if there's big sporting events or something like that, he will post on Stake how much he's gambling on someone. Usually he's taking a big underdog, like he took Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua, which is a terrible bet. But when you're playing with fake money to promote, events, to promote more traffic to the gambling site, then, what does he care? If he's getting $150 million per year just to put Stake in his bio and gamble fake money, I think that's a pretty great deal. But to kind of get more in the deals of the case, the plaintiffs, Lashana Ridley and Tiffany Hines, claim that Stake.us operates as an illegal online casino in the U.S. by masquerading as a social casino. They claim that the site claims to be free to play, but the lawsuit argues its Stake Cash system, which can be redeemed for cryptocurrency, functions as real money gambling, bypassing federal and state regulations. So Kick kind of found a loophole there to not get the same laws and regulations as other gambling sites. They're accusing Drake and Adin Ross of preying upon their consumers by promoting their platform to their massive audiences, allegedly gambling with funds that were provided by Stake rather than their own money, like I was saying before. And if this was true, this would not surprise me at all. I would actually be more surprised if they were gambling with their own money. That would surprise me more, just because, from Stake's point of view, it makes sense. Just give these guys fake money to gamble with, and then give them real money for their deals, because these are two really big figures, in the streaming and rap community. Obviously, Drake is the biggest rapper in the world, and you could debate that. Adin Ross is one of the biggest streamers in the world as well. So, it's smart by Stake to have them do this, but it also might be illegal. So the big turn on this is the most explosive part of the lawsuit is the claim that the gambling profits were used to artificially inflate Drake's popularity. Now, we know back to the Drake and Kendrick beef, seems like forever ago now. Drake was calling out Kendrick Lamar and saying that giving him a nickname of K-Bot because he would buy bots to inflate his streams to make him seem like he's bigger than he really was. As we know, Drake filed a lawsuit that was later dropped, accusing all these different networks and streaming platforms of inflating Kendrick's numbers, as well as the record label UMG of inflating his numbers to devalue his brand as a rapper, and to try to, once contract negotiations did come, they could give him less money because he wasn't as big through his battle with Kendrick and the aftermath of all that. So apparently these funds were allegedly funneled into streaming farms and bot networks to create billions of fraudulent plays for Drake's music on platforms like Spotify, which, obviously would distort the charts and recommendation algorithms. Now, this is a little hard for me to believe, just like it was kind of hard for me to believe Drake's accusations on Kendrick saying, hey, you're using these streaming farms to get, more popularity. It's like, these are the two biggest rappers in the world. If they're going at it using streaming farms, the both of them, that's just embarrassing. And quite frankly, it's pretty stupid, because you're already the two biggest in the world. Why do you care about, trying to get over one another? They're both insanely rich. They're both making, 9 figures a year. So that's kind of far-fetched for me to believe. But, to get more in the case, so obviously the key name parties would be Drake, who was alleged to be at the heart of the scheme, using his influence to drive users to the platform and benefiting from the inflated streaming numbers. And Adin Ross, he was named for his aggressive promotion of Stake to a young audience and for participating in the tipping transfers. And it was actually cited of a 100,000 transfer, which was listed as a tip from Drake. So this is going to be interesting. Adin Ross came out and said it was, basically BS. No official statement from Drake, which is smart. Why even feed into it? They're going to have the best lawyers in the world, fighting this. But this might be a tough one, just because it is so believable for me to see that, they are using this fake money that Kick is providing them to gamble. And, morally, it is wrong that you're promoting gambling to this young audience and not even using your own money. Now, for $100 million, I'm fine with being morally wrong for $100 million, but that's how the law can catch up with you, right? So I think, all in all, we'll see how this unfolds, but them catching a Rico is just a crazy, crazy headline. Kind of what's next for the lawsuit. The lawsuit is seeking at least $5 million in damages and aims to represent Virginia residents who lost money on Stake. As I said, Drake representatives have not responded. Adin Ross said it's BS. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, this is very interesting. This could be the downfall to sites such as Stake, giving all these influencers and people that are big in the culture money to try to promote their site. Or, with Drake and Adin Ross having the greatest lawyers in the country and, potentially in the world, they're probably not worried about this. And if they have to fork over $5 million, as what they're aiming for, then that will not hurt them. I'm sure Stake will just give it back to them. So let me know what you think about this case. Do you think they're guilty? Do you want to see Drizzy and Adin Ross thrown into jail? Or you think people are just trying to recoup their money after, losing a bunch of money gambling, which, is pretty stupid. So let me know what you think. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and stay tuned for more news in the rap and streamer community. You all have a good one. Peace.